Hey, how about everybody else? All right. A couple, yeah.
Halifax.
Halifax, mostly
Very
Halifax.
Halifax.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think a lot of us are Halifax and New Brunswick, maybe.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I see Susan. How's it going, Susan? Got to connect with you a little bit at LCD. That was fun. Janice, what's happening? How's it going, Karen? So I have, personally, I haven't done a ton of trade shows, but I have done a few, and then I have a couple gals on my team that's like literally they breathe and live doing booths and doing venues. So I know Karen had mentioned that she's got a couple coming up, and sounded like a handful of you did. So we were just chatting the other day, and I'd shared a couple ideas with her, and she said, hey, would you mind sharing those with us? And I think the reality is all of you are incredibly well equipped to go just absolutely crush a trade show or a booth and get a lot of value out of it. For me, it's more just like the mindset going in to kind of set your expectation and really so that your outcomes of that event are met. So I think a lot of people go to a trade show and in their mind, it's like, hey, I'm going to do this trade show. It's going to set my business on fire. And I'm going to leave here with all these contacts, and everybody's going to become promoters or customers. And when I've done trade shows with that mindset in the past, I usually either halfway through, I'm like, oh, this sucks, or I leave the trade show and I'm like, well, that was a waste of time. If I go in with different energy, if I go in with maybe a slightly different expectation or outcome, usually I end up having a lot more fun, and then long term it creates a lot more success. So kind of what I mean by that is improve it in any business, but especially ours. Like our goal and our job, what we get paid to do is to introduce this conversation to new people. And whether you're going to the Mall of America, which I'm just about 15 minutes from, and like walking around, bumping into people and talking to them. I have a handful of people in my group that literally do that. They'll go to the mall just to meet new people, and they're able to get amazing contacts and enroll customers and promoters through that activity. That's definitely not my sweet spot. Or if somebody's going to like a networking group or a chamber of commerce function, or if you're doing something via social media, or if you're just standing in line at Starbucks all day long, talking to the person in front of you and behind you, or maybe you're going into a gym and working out wearing your keto gear. At the end of the day, going to a trade show is the exact same thing. It's just a concentrated place to meet new people. So I love it. I got a text today from a guy in Connecticut. His name's Joe. He's pretty new in the business. He just signed up end of January. And he shot me a picture of his booth, and he said, hey, all set up here. He's done one event like that before, but for him, he's not, he's probably mid-50s, male, not really on Facebook much, was a corporate guy, so he was kind of isolated for a number of years, doesn't have a huge personal network. So in his mind, what he's going to do is go meet some new people through doing a trade show. I thought that was awesome. So he signed himself up for a couple of health expos, and now he's connecting with new people. So number one is what is your expectation out of it? Your goal, and this, you can just take my opinions for what they're worth. They're my opinions. My goal when I would do something like this is, hey, how can I get in front of new people today and have new conversations? Basically find new people to put their eyeballs on our campfire video, and that will maybe turn into 5 or 10 day experiences. And then from there, they might turn into customers or promoters. So like if you go in with that expectation, and then your mindset is, my goal is not to just go in there and sell product. My goal is to raise awareness for our Keto Max and Pure Therapeutic Ketone conversation. We have kind of a special thing going on right now, and that's the fact that 6 months ago, a year ago, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I know Janice and Tanya have been involved for a long time. Back then, no one knew what ketones were. No one knew what keto was. Like, it wasn't a buzzword. So if you were at an event, you'd spend most of your time just trying to tell them what ketones were. Now, like keto is in. Keto is the thing. So you have people that will be walking by coming to you saying, hey, I was just watching NCIS last night, and actually was earlier this week, and they're literally were talking on NCIS about the ketogenic diet. One of the security guards was eating bacon and hard-boiled eggs. But you know something's catching on when people in there, like when sitcoms start to put that diet in their script, because they only do that when their audience will get it, or their audience will like be intrigued by that. So it's become pop culture. So as you're doing that booth, you're raising awareness for our conversation for Prove It, and something to kind of start putting in your language instead of just saying ketones, because ketones is almost becoming a generic term. We are Keto Max, and we are pure therapeutic ketones. So start to differentiate your language, because that's truly what sets us apart. No one else out there has Keto Max, and pure therapeutic ketones is a registered trademark by Prove It. So that's kind of like, that's our differentiator. Somebody says, oh, I'm drinking ketones. Great. Are you drinking Keto Max? Are you drinking pure therapeutic ketones? And they're like, oh, I found this stuff called Julian's Bakery Instant Ketones or something. You're like, oh, funny. How does it make you feel? Do you like the taste of it? Because honestly, it doesn't even register on a blood meter. You've got to try our ketones. So if you have that mindset first going in, I'm going to raise awareness. I'm going to create conversation with new people that is going to lead down the road or down our path. Now, all of a sudden, you're not doing anything different than somebody that's building on social media. You're not doing anything different than somebody who's having a mixer at their house. You're literally just getting in front of new people who can watch our video and become part of our community. So with that mindset, when you're at your booth, your table, whatever you want to call it, I'm not somebody that's super like, I have some ladies that have crazy table runners. They have crazy like artistic stuff. You're not going to get any advice about that kind of stuff from me. I usually have my tower of canisters that I have stacked. If I could turn my computer around, I would. I've literally got about 30 canisters over here. That's like the leaning tower of keto. I bring those. I have like a blue scarf that I spread across the table. I've got boxes of the product. I've got better magazines, and then I'm sampling the flavors. So I usually have a minimum of probably 4 or 5 different flavors out that people can just sample. At trade shows, I've had people that do like larger cups, and I always shy away from that because that'll cost you a lot by the end of the day. I like to do shot glasses. Some people I see will mix up like an entire 5-gallon or a couple gallon container. I personally prefer to do just shaker bottles. I think there's something to be said about having to take a little bit of time. Like if it runs out and somebody's like, oh, I want to try that flavor. Here, let me mix one up for you. That keeps them engaged with you longer. I don't know. Do you guys have Sam's Club or Costco or anything like that up there? Yeah, which one? Both?
Costco.
Costco. So when you go to Costco, you guys love the free samples? You ever notice how they always run out and you're always having to sit there and wait for the dang free samples? You know that's by design. They don't just like make a tray of 100 and stick it there. They make trays of like 15 or 20 so that you have to sit there and wait. And as you're waiting, your eyes are focused to look at like, what does their sign say? And then the person that's making the food has to talk to you. Well, that's part of their gimmick. That's part of their deal. So that like there's science behind it. So at your table, like have some fun with it. Don't pour 100 samples so that you can get everybody. Like pour 3 or 4 or 5 of each flavor and then make that so that you have some dialogue. Another big thing with tables is like you get what you put into it with anything. It always cracks me up when I go to an event and I see, everybody's got their direct sales items, whatever it is, Pampered Chef or Norwex or something. And I see the 2 little old ladies like parked in their chairs behind the table, just chilling, just waiting for the shoppers to come and kind of look at their stuff. And then there's me in front of the table, like with the Keto Army shirt on and my keto hat sideways or whatever. And I am accosting people as they come by. Like, hey, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? Are you drinking ketones yet? Like, have energy, have fun. you have to direct people into your conversation. And the more that you do that, the more like excitement that you're going to have. So obviously working with a partner or having like 3 people there, depending on the size of the event, it's going to give you some more flexibility to actually draw people in and engage them. But like, to me, that's a no-brainer. Yet I see it every single time. And then I think sometimes the biggest value comes from just networking with the other vendors that are there. And not to be mistaken as trying to go sell them or trying to go recruit them, but just build that relationship. If your energy is right during the whole event, if you're having fun, they see that you're having a good time, you're hopped up on ketones, you're sampling some to them, you're like, hey, are you drinking this stuff yet? You got to be. Are you tired? Here, let me get you a serving of it. Now all of a sudden they're intrigued. They're like leaning in, like, what are they doing over there? Your goal is just to have more fun than everybody else at the event. If you're doing that, people want to be part of it. They want to know about it. They're curious. They're really like, they're intrigued. And if you have time to go around and just learn what they're doing and be interested, I mean, save a little bit of shopping for if it's like a shopping type event, and go, bring an extra $20 bill and buy a Norwex cloth or something. Or if your kids need little, I don't know if you got grandbabies or little kiddos, I'm always buying like little girl outfits for my little girls. But just have fun, like be present, be real. I do like to do a door prize giveaway, but I try to qualify it. My goal was just to get as many names as possible. I just want your name, put your name and your email and your phone number down, and you can enter to win the drawing. But I realized after that, following up is such a bear anyways, and following up is everything, that I wanted to be a little bit more selective in the people's information that I got. So I would rather, 10 to 20 qualified names than 100 names that don't mean anything, because I'm going to be spinning my wheels thinking, oh my gosh, I've got 100 names. I've got so much work to do, and then not get anything out of it because I don't have the time or the energy to really follow up well with those people. Whereas if I have 15 like qualified people, so what I'll do is have a conversation. I'll let them sample it. I'll see whatever their interest level is. I'll let them know, hey, we're selling 5 or 10 day packs here. If you can sell items at the event, some places you can't. I was just talking to somebody, Izzy. Have you guys heard of Izzy? He's the guy that used to have an ankle bracelet on his foot. He was like literally just got out of prison, had an ankle bracelet for a number of for the first year of doing this, and literally just had to build it from the ground up, had no credibility. Like, if I ever think I have excuses, like, this guy had an excuse. Like, he was on parole. But he was resourceful. He'd walk into gyms. Hey, can I do a tasting here? I won't sell anything. I just want to have a table and let people try our new pure therapeutic ketone products. And like, he just wouldn't take no for an answer. And he went into like every gym in his county. And eventually he became like a well-known guy that was always tasting product. And all he would do is have tastings. He wasn't selling. Now, if you're able to sell 5 or 10 day experiences, I think that's awesome. Skip that step. But in a lot of the situations, he was able to get himself in the door because there wasn't going to be any money to changing hands. It was literally just like, I don't know, at a liquor store, if they're doing a little wine tasting or something, right? They're just, here's a little thimble of this wine. That kind of brings energy and it brings value to that establishment. So you guys can get resourceful and seek out those opportunities. I've got a guy right now that I'm working with locally. His name's John Warder. He's a Circle Champion, ranked 6. He was just out with us at LCD, and he was just talking. He's like, I need to get busy. Like, I need to go meet new people. And we were talking about different avenues for him. And he's a real fit guy. He used to play football in college. He's 70 years old now. Looks like he's 60, 50. And now he's walked into probably 10 or 15 gyms over the last 2 weeks, and he's got, I think, 2 or 3 tastings scheduled so far, and is working on getting maybe 4 or 5 others on the books who are interested in having him back. So to me, that's really cool, because now he's tapping into their networks. It's not just a trade show, so there's not 100 other vendors. It literally is him and whoever the people of that establishment are. So whether it's a salon during their busy hour, whether it's a tanning place, whether it's a gym, whether it's a yoga studio, a Pilates studio. I mean, I don't know what's cool right now in Halifax, Nova Scotia, but I was at a Pure Bar last summer, like every other weekend, sampling. I don't even know what pure bar is. It's like ballet or something. I wasn't doing it. It was me and a bunch of women. But one of them was a promoter, and she's like, Nick, we got to sample to all these girls. And we got tons of customers, couple promoters, just a lot of great energy within that pure bar. And it was all because we got the owner drinking the product. She loved it. She just wanted to be a customer. And she's like, yeah, come share it with all these girls. They're going to love it. So what avenues do you guys have like that you can kind of pop into and just start to like grassroots, like put your face out there, get your name out there? So while you're at these booths or trade shows, sampling the product, the ultimate goal there is sell a 5 or 10 day sample pack. Most people would be willing to leave with that. And then just asking people like, hey, what are your fitness goals? Like, where do you see yourself? Are you looking to trim up? Are you looking to get your summer beach body on? Or like, which of these benefits would you most like to experience? That's another one. A lot of the ladies that I work with have like a list of the benefits, like that just stands up straight and people can read it. And they'll say, well, which of these would you most like to experience? Get their juices flowing, them thinking, well, hey, if you like these flavors, we can make you a 5 or 10 day sample pack right now. You can take it home with you and sell it to them for whatever you're selling it for. And then from there, it's just following up. So in that process, you're going to ask smart questions like, hey, like we're looking for, if you have a real good dialogue with somebody, you can just mention, hey, there's an opportunity to get this for free. And if you're interested in sharing this with people around you, we're looking for more promoters. We're just getting started up here in the, Nova Scotia area. Who do you know that might be a good fit for this? And just start planting those seeds. And then where I would use a drawing, you might, for people that are like on the fence of getting a 5 or 10 day experience, you might say, like, if they're interested, say, you know what, I know you're really interested. Let me get your name and your phone number, and I'll enter you into our drawing to win a free 5 or 10 day sample pack. And you can start generating from your interested conversations, maybe not for everybody, but from those interested conversations, now you're capturing their names. Now you have a reason to call them. And then when you go to do those drawings, you can give away a free 5 day. You can give away 5 free 5 days. You can do whatever the heck you want. It's your drawing. I used to do that all the time when, like, I'm just trying to drum up business, right? So I'd have 15 names, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna give away, like, a first prize is a free 5 day, and then everybody else is getting a 3-pack as long as they'll have coffee with me or something. So I was calling through. Guess what? You're like our number. You're not the grand prize winner, but you're the runner-up. You get a free 3-day sample pack. When can we meet? Where can we meet? I'd love to share it with you. And boom, now you're just getting samples into their mouths. You're getting videos to them. Hey, the only catch is you got to watch this video first and tell me from the video, what do you like best? And what do you want to experience? And you do that enough times, you're going to find the ones that want it. And you're going to, you're going to have to pick up the phone and probably call them. It's probably, you might be able to ask or even have that question on your, like when you're having them fill out a piece of paper, what is your cell phone number? Do you text, or can I text you? And maybe have a box to click on that. Otherwise, just say, hey, I'll follow up with you. I like to schedule, I like to preempt my follow-up. What I mean by that is if we're having a conversation, I'm going to tell them, hey, it'd be all right if I call you on Monday and get you some more information. Sometimes people don't have enough time to get all their questions answered. Hey, what I'd love to do is send you a couple more videos so you can learn a little bit more. And then I'd love to follow up with you. Is that okay? And now they're expecting my call. So if I don't call, then it's, shame on me for not sticking to my word, because I've already put it out there. So it's almost like if you plant that seed, then when you do call and follow up, it's normal, it's natural, it's expected. And the biggest thing with any of these shows is the follow-up. The guy, Joe, I mentioned earlier, who was in Connecticut doing a show, he had one in Washington, D.C., like 2 weeks ago, and it was a massive show. I don't recommend massive shows. I think there were like 80,000 participants, but there's no way you can ever talk to 80,000 people. But he had like 50 people, like 50 qualified names to talk to, and I think he's enrolled maybe one of them as a customer and maybe one as a promoter. But I guarantee you it's because, like, he'll have more if he'd had made sure that he had time or like really carved out specific time to follow up on that list. Because that's like, he spent a lot of money to be in that show. He needs to make sure that he's doing the work afterwards to basically to follow up, to get no's, to make sure that people are at least looking at what he gave them, and to ask them for the quote unquote sale, or just ask, hey, are you ready to get started as a customer or a promoter? So those really are like my tips in 20 minutes or less. I think the biggest thing for me is just the mindset going in, and then the follow-up coming out. And then while you're there, it's the energy. I think knowing now, like I'm trying to get more of our group into different venues where they're doing tastings, just because like we've created a buzz and the buzz is out there. So we need to go capitalize on that. And like right now, there's not a lot of competition within Prove It. Like we're not competing against ourselves, but eventually these shows and whatnot, they're going to be all locked up. Like every show you go to is going to have somebody that's representing Prove It there. Every different, gym's already going to have that. So why not be the first in your communities to be that person? Like, why not add one night a week as, hey, this is the night where I got to go and be somewhere where I'm going to be in front of more people, because that's going to drive the business forward and create the results that you're looking for. So I'd love to open it to questions, knowing that I don't have all the answers and I'm not perfect, but I might have a different perspective than you're used to.
Well, thanks, Nick. I have one question. When you do the 5 and 10 days, am I muted?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just looking for you on my screen.
Okay. What do you put anything in with the 5 and 10 days? Like, do you have like any like little thing that you put in? Like, do I start with half a pack, or do you do anything like that? Or
yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's a ton of stuff floating around out there that different people use. I've got a sheet that just has, let me go see what my sheet looks like. One sec. Trying to remember. Here we go. It says, thank you for, like, literally not fancy, right? My whole thing is keep it simple. Instead of having some, oh, here we go. The back of it is this. You guys all recognize that?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't, that's under the downloads. It's called the Hacker's Guide. I don't try to reinvent the wheel. All I did on this was have on the front, it says, hey there, thanks for giving Keto us a try. I've been drinking ketones for years and love what it's done for me and my family. More energy, better mood, fat loss, better sleep, and more. Check out the Hacker's Guide on the other side of this page for some great info. I'd love to hear from you. Contact me. It's got my contact information and my Prove It page on it. Love what you tried. Order today at proveitnow.com so that at least they have my website. And then this side is here. I did throw I use this when I send out 5 days. We threw a picture of our family on there just to personalize it a little bit. But honestly, that is all you need. If you want to throw, like, you print these out, put a sticker with your information on this side, boom. Like, you don't even have to double side print. You can just print these out. Great question. Anyone else? We got to get some more dudes on here. I think Kendrick is all alone.
I know we need to get more dudes on our team.
Oh, wait, I see Christy's got a dude.
Yeah,
And Michael's there too.
oh, there's Michael. Okay, I gotta like look all across. They're just hard to find.
We definitely do need more though. We're
haystack.
Any tips on that?
It's all right. It's women drive this business. I'm not dumb enough not to realize that. It's funny. You attract. I end up enrolling a lot more men. You just attract who you are. Like that's who you talk to. That's who's comfortable talking to you. If I could switch into a woman, I'd do it in a minute, just so that I could go build this business faster.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Any other questions, comments, ideas? What have you all done that's worked well? Anyone have something they like or?
I have another question for you, Nick.
Shoot.
When you're at a show, how many flavors would you have with you? Do you have just a couple, or how many would you have?
You know, I like having a lot just because it keeps people at your table longer. I think 3 minimum with the number of flavors that we have. Now that personally, I don't like sampling stuff that they can't buy. So I probably won't be sampling anything that's not available at that moment for them to purchase, because otherwise it's like, oh, I only liked Heart Tart. Well, you're probably not going to get Heart Tart ever again. Well, maybe, fingers crossed, here in a month or so. But Splash, I'd probably throw that out. Raspberry lemonade for sure. Maybe one of the chocolates, swirl or Swiss cacao orange. It's just kind of up to you. I still like sampling the orange. Whenever I send out a 5-day, I give them raspberry lemonade, Swiss cacao, chocolate swirl, heart. What are the other ones? Maui punch and
Orange.
So like basically the 5 that were available. Now that we have Splash, I'm having to like scratch my head and think, well, shoot, if I have 6 flavors and there's only 5 going in here, either I got to sell them 6 or I got to take one out. Which is it going to be? But you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like if you've got lots of product, then bring what you got. If you only have 3 flavors, bring what you have. I've got some people that are calling me freaking out. Oh my gosh, I've only got this, this, and this. I'm missing this. I'm like, that's okay. I mean, a lot of you were probably involved when all we had was orange. And in order to make it fun, we'd bring heavy cream and we'd bring LaCroix and we'd try to and it wasn't even the good version of orange we have now. It was like the super sweet, like, holy crap, how am I going to sell this stuff version?
Yeah. I do a lot of shows in Toronto. I'm that person that's locked up all the major shows, most of the major shows anyways, at the big convention center. And one of the things I found that does work as well for getting contacts is when people buy a 5-day or a 10-day, I don't have a lot of literature. I don't bring a lot of brochures and takeaways, because I just tell people, it's like, look, we're trying to be green, so why don't you give me your contact info and I'll send you a how-to video, and then I'll send them the drink your sample video. But that way I'm getting contact information, and then I can make notes on the back of, did they buy, what did they buy, what was their main concern. And I can post this on the group as well, everyone. I have my register, I guess I call it, it's the name for getting their name, email, and everything. I've got a checklist. What are you most interested? Better energy, better focus, fat loss, better workouts, better sleep, extra income, or free ketones. So it's kind of like just boxes they can check. And then if they're interested in a business, and if they're just interested in fat loss or energy or workouts or what. So it really helps qualify pretty quickly.
I like that. That's awesome. Oops. I think the follow-up part there is key. I hate giving stuff out at these events, because where does it end up? I mean, if you go to a trade show and you get like a pile of crap, you just throw it away when you get home. Do you actually look at it? I don't think so. That's why I don't give out, I'll give out business cards at a trade show just because, but I don't put any stock in them. I don't carry business cards with me anymore. My way of getting a business card is, what's your phone number? I'll text you. And with them, if you're collecting their information, now you're in control, and then you can gradually follow up, especially if they have product. Now you're hitting them with Dr. Dom's TED Talk saying, hey, check out Dr. Dom. He's the guy that invented our product, or his research inspired what we have today. This is so cool. They're watching this TED Talk completely third party, and now they're like, wow, this is bigger than I thought. Then a day later, you're hitting them with Dr. Mary Newport's 4-minute-long CBN video saying, hey, did you see Dr. Mary Newport yet? Oh, my goodness. We have a product just like what she used to give her husband, and she's drinking our ketones. Now they're hearing from Dr. Mary over here, and you're like, hey, she was just on our call 2 nights ago with this crazy pilot, Nick Martinez. She's super awesome. You got to hear her information. So now third party, completely not prove it. They're getting validated. Then you're texting them, hey, did you read this article yet? It was came out the other day about ketones and diabetes. It's crazy. Doctors are using this diet now to help people with diabetes. Like, why not get yourself into ketosis in an hour with a drink? It's nuts. So my follow-up process always involves just hitting them with great information. Like part of our mantra or part of our community-based marketing is leading with education. So what can I shoot them that will educate them on our conversation that isn't just proven? A lot of people are always like, well, what's Prove It's exact studies? Like, what does Prove It have to prove that their product works? I'm like, I would rather show you all of this third-party validation and then teach you how our product works and how to drink it and then how you feel. To me, that's like the trifecta of follow-up. That's awesome. Great tips, ladies. Anybody else have some fun stuff they like doing at shows? It looks like we have 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I can add just one quick one. And thanks, Nick, for I love the idea of the 3-pack as a second prize or third prize, especially for people that you just want to push over.
Yeah.
But one thing that's worked really well for us, and I've shared this with some of you, but not everybody, is we've created like a little coupon and go to, particularly on the Saturday, going to the show a little bit early, going from booth to the other vendors. And the coupon basically says, you know, if your energy gets low today and you need the best energy possible, text me, you know, orange, Maui, or chocolate at this number, or come to booth 303 for, you know, pure ketones or something like that. And that's actually how Angela and I met, was doing that at a trade show. And so we've had a lot of positive feedback from other vendors, even coming back at the end of the show and saying, I threw out every piece of stuff I got at the show except for this. Tell me what this is all about. So if you get them ahead of time when they're just kind of getting organized, that's worked really well. And then when we take them is a little more than a shot glass for the vendors.
That's awesome. I love it. Dose the vendors. Get them lit up on ketones. They'll be coming to you by the end. Hey, how do I sign up?
Yeah.
That's perfect. I haven't heard of that idea.
Yeah.
I like it.
No idea that was going to happen that day, but thank God it did, because we are.
And here you are.
Yes.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. Any other awesome ideas you guys want to share with me so I can take them back?
I have one a little bit off of trade shows. Now, I did this once, and I do it every time. When I go to Costco, I bring my ketones, and I drink them very cautiously. But when I get up to the cash, usually they have containers, and they're drinking something. And I'll look, and I'll go, oh my gosh, are you drinking Keto Max? Are you drinking Keto OS? And they'll say, no, what's that? Oh my gosh, you haven't heard of ketones? Well, you know what? I have a great video. While you're doing that, just tell me your email and I'll throw it off to you when I get home to my office. And I have got a couple customers by doing that. So that really works. Like, just people always have their shaker bottles at their desks or their cash registers, and just say, are you drinking ketones?
I love it.
Yeah. It does work.
We are down to a minute. So thanks so much, Nick, for helping. That's huge. It'll definitely help us all. So
absolutely. Good seeing all your faces. Keep rocking the northeastern portion of Canada. Maybe someday I'll be able to make it out there, but we'll see those of you in Toronto. I'll be there on the 10th. So
awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks so much.
See you guys.
Thanks, Toronto. Thanks.